Hello everybody and welcome to our live studio show here, the first of the season on MXGPTV.com. We've got a great show lined up for you in Patagonia, Argentina with Hunter Lawrence, Tony Cairoli and Adam Wheeler from OnTrackOffroad.com. The winter is over and we're here to start all over again at the first Grand Prix here in Argentina, South America. Before we go anywhere though, Lisa Leyland will come back to you. We're back for another year.
I know.
How's it been for you? At least it's warmer than usual.
It is warmer. I'm well rested. I'm ready to go. And yeah, it's great to kickstart the season off here as well because it's so beautiful, isn't it?
So you ready for it?
I am. Are you ready?
Oh, I was born ready. I was
You
born
were.
ready.
You
Like
were.
this guy here, Hunter Lawrence, our first guest. Obviously a change in team, 114 Motorsports Honda. Welcome to Argentina and the Patagonia racetrack here. You're our first guest of 2018.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
You know, not a bad circuit to kick things off either. You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, for sure. You know, a new year, a new team, and a new bike again. So it's a challenge, you know. But yeah, beautiful place to start off the season. So the track's cool. It's significant to this area. It's pretty flat and high speed. You know, it's not a super technical track, so it's quite an easy track as far as a rider's perspective, I think. But it should make for some good racing tomorrow. And yeah, the weather's great, which is 10 times better than racing in the rain, so I mean, yeah, I can't complain.
And the weather has actually been better than previously forecast, so far we're doing all right.
Yeah, so fingers crossed.
He's got the sunburn to prove it as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But before we start talking 2018, let's go back to Motocross Nations back at Matsley last year. What a result for you on a personal level. And I suppose a great way to say farewell to Suzuki.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was my first Nations, so it was amazing for me. You know, it was such a cool place, and the track we had was awesome. It was probably the coolest track. It was a shame it got a bit tortured by the weather, but it was cool for Suzuki. You know, we finished on the podium in the last round of the GPs to finish it off, you know, for them in the GPs, and then yeah, Nations we ended up winning, so that was pretty cool. No better way to finish off the year with a win, so that was cool. And to ride for your country, you know, that's awesome. To have the green and yellow on, it's something you dream of, you know. So yeah, hopefully I get the opportunity to do it again this year. I think it's in Redbud in America, so yeah, that'll be interesting, and I'm sure the fans will be pretty crazy there as well.
Sure they will.
I mean, Australia came so close to being on the podium as well. Does that, I mean, if you do it again this year, does that fill you with confidence when we do head to Redbud?
Yeah, for sure. You know, everything was looking so good, but it's just, that's the sport, you know. Things can change like that, you know. So yeah, for sure, we're looking forward to it again, to get a chance of redemption, and hopefully, yeah, I think if we have another solid team this year, I think it's possible to get on the podium, you know. I mean, anything can happen, like you saw, but yeah, it's just such a crazy event, and even for the mechanics, you know, with such short time between motos, I think it's the coolest event of the whole year. But I mean, racing for your country and in that atmosphere is, I think, the best thing about the event. So
well, look, new year, new team, new bike. How's it been so far on the Honda?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's good. We've got Livia. She's retired from her racing career, and then she's taken on the role of a team boss. You know, you don't always see a team manager that's a woman that's just come out of her racing. You know, normally you see a break, so she's still motivated, and she's been really good. You know, with everything, just from I don't know now, but like in most things and everything she's done, it's been spot on. And yeah, she's going to make mistakes. I think it's only human. You know, I make mistakes. Everyone does. It's a new team. We have a new bike this year also that Honda, has produced. And so everything was, a little bit delayed and stuff, but we've done the best we can. And she's been charging, you know, so I mean, yeah, it's different to have a woman as a boss, you know. You have your mum at home, and then you've also got like a mum at work, so
you can't get rid of her.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
I mean, you mentioned there is girl power in the team. I mean, are you impressed with how things have gone so far, and how are you going to approach this year? Do you feel like perhaps you've got something to prove because you are a new team in the paddock? Yeah,
for sure, you know, with the girl power. Yeah, it's funny, you know. But I mean, I think it's cool. Hopefully we can just do what we want to do, you know. I know what my goals are, and I mean, we have a lot of odds stacked against us, you know. We're a privateer team, and so yeah, it's our budget is maybe a quarter of the factory teams, you know. So I mean, there's a lot of things stacked against us, but we just want to give it our best shot, and I think we have a good bike and a good team, so I think it's, we will give it our best shot. We'll see how it goes.
Well, we're just looking at the clip now. One thing that hasn't changed is your teammate, Bas Vassen.
Yeah.
Has that made the transition a little bit easier, do you think, this year?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's to have someone on the same team as you that you know and stuff. It makes it easier. But I must say, you know, with the team, we have my mechanic I know, and also the other mechanics. You know, we're a small team, and the transition has been really easy, you know, super welcoming. And I mean, as far as everything goes on mechanics and the riders, I think we all get along great, you know. So that's always good to have everyone really a team feeling, you know, not like a divide or a split in the team. So I'm really happy with the team.
What last year when you were at Suzuki, you obviously been living in Belgium. Are you still based in Belgium because it's a French team and she's normally over on the west coast in Hossegor? How much time have you spent there? Is that where the team workshop is? How is that logistically for you?
So yeah, that's we had the option to move down there, but I mean, we're not going to be in Europe for a lot longer, you know. So for us to stay in Belgium, it was a lot easier, and Livy was good with that. You know, I know some team managers would have, or teams would push that you're right next to the workshop, and that's another thing she's been awesome with. And we've been down there a lot in the winter because it's just been raining and stuff, you know, in Belgium, the usual winter.
Sure.
So yeah, we spent a lot of time down there, and we also got a lot of rain down there, which is ironic. It's normally not meant to rain there, but yeah, so we've done probably half and half, you know.
Yeah. Then down to Spain.
Yeah, exactly.
Chasing the sun.
Exactly. Not wrong.
Okay, Hunter, we have a question on social media for you. This one's from Ghosty. And he says, what goes through your mind when you realise your sixth scrub is about to be a little sicker than intended?
Now, I have a feeling I know what this is about. Bell Pooch.
Yeah.
Training.
Bell Pig, yeah.
You posted it.
Yeah. That was actually a bit funny, you know. I was doing a moto, and Bas was there filming some stuff, and I was just doing my moto, and then scrubbing, and that was pretty cool. You know, there's a camera there. Yeah, we'll try a little bit more, and I think then when I realised my foot clipped, and I was like looking at the bike seat, I've gone, ooh, and then I thought maybe I can land back on this horse, but I just completely missed. But the first, I don't know, I wasn't really thinking in there. I was just like, oh, crap. But, I wasn't hurt, so that was good luck.
Yeah, when they go wrong, they go wrong. Sometimes, unfortunately, you got away with it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I learned a lesson at quite a cheap cost, so it was good, actually.
Yeah, not like the time you tried a knack-knack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another story for another day.
Yeah. Well, look, Hunter, enjoy this weekend here in Patagonia. Enjoy the rest of the season as well. Wish you all the best on your Honda 114 Motorsports.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Just wait there 1 second before we meet our next guest, Tony Cairoli. Let's see what happened here last year, because obviously the track hasn't changed so much. Here's some highlights from MX2 Race 2. Enjoy. Coming into race 2, Benoit Paturel, the Khmer Yamaha rider, was the new championship leader after the misfortunes of Julian Lieber. But Paturel suffered a poor start, rounding out lap 1 outside the top 20, as once again Prado took another foxhole shot. This time, Jeremy Seewer was well placed on his Suzuki World MX2 machine in third, behind the 41 of Pauls Jonas. The three riders then started to pull clear of the rest of the field that included Lieber, Bernardini, and Sinai, Brent Van Donnick and Adam Sterry. Once again, though, it didn't take long, Jonas, to find his way past his teammate, Prado. Two Red Bull KTMs put on a show, but Seewer was right there, ready to pounce. Lieber was having a great ride, but was no match for the guys ahead of him. Maybe that's the difference between a privateer and a factory bike. The two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas came crashing down after Thomas Covington mistimed his move on his teammate, Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Both riders had to battle back through the field. Meanwhile, Seewer was up into second with that move on Prado. Darian Sinai found his way past Lieber to get himself into fourth around the lap 7 mark, which is another great move and a great ride from the American. Darian Sinai in his rookie season in MX2. Benoit Paturel climbed as high as 11th before crashing down in that same difficult right-hander. He fell down to 15th and eventually come back to 9th for more vital championship points. But maybe it was an opportunity lost for the Frenchman on the Khmer Yamaha. Pauls Jonas, though, went on to take a second moto win. It was an emphatic double moto victory for him. Seewer second, Prado third, and that was also the overall podium. Jonas, Prado and Seewer. Seewer now, though, takes over the championship lead. He will have the red plate on the Suzuki in Lyon. Well, that was 12 months ago, and here we are back again at the Patagonia racetrack, Argentina, for the opening round of the FIA Motocross World Championship MXGP. And our next guest joins Lisa and I now, Tony Cairoli, 9-time world champion, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Welcome to beautiful part of the world. Enjoying it so far?
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, everything is at the moment looking perfect. You know, the weather's good, and the place here is amazing in Villa Langostura, so and the fans are also here, so everything is fine.
All right, well, look, before we start talking about 2018, let's just take a quick trip down memory lane. Here's how Tony won the title back in 2017 at Assen in race 1. And a back marker, no. I was just looking ahead and I thought the back markers were going to play a part. Cairoli has thrown everything into this one. He maybe left his challenge too late. He maybe got held up by a back marker. If he gets good drive through here, can he make the pass? Herlings will win race 1 here at Assen in front of his home fans. But Cairoli is world champion for a 9th time. He ghost rides the bike. That is 3 years of frustration for Tony Cairoli. He finally gets the job done. Fireworks going off. Tony Cairoli gets drowned in champagne. Claudio Di Carli, one of the first to be there as well. And it is pandemonium down here at Assen. Well, dramatic scenes and exciting scenes, I guess, for you. Watching that clip again, I guess, you know, you feel very proud to win 9, but does that fire you up? Are you, ready again now for title number 10 and just to put in a good solid year?
Yeah, of course. We are really pumped to start another season. For sure, it's really difficult to confirm yourself, but we have done this in the past, and we try to do it again. It's everybody's training, and it's pushing hard, to beat me, and so that's what we try to find the new technique, new stuff, develop your body a little bit better, for the upcoming seasons. Always is difficult, but we are in a good shape, and the season is very long, and we are looking forward for another good championship.
Throughout the winter, looking at your social media posts, it looked like you hardly had any time off. You had your rally, your sponsor commitments. Do you like that side of the job, or would you just prefer to relax and just go fishing?
No, because he likes fishing, by the way.
Yeah, I like fishing, catch and release, always. But it's also part of the job, If you only do a rider, and you don't take care of all the other stuff, it's not myself. I like to entertain with the fans and to give the sponsors also credit, during the off season where they put a lot of money on this sport, and for me it's really important to also give back something to them. I know it's very difficult, and I didn't have any off season free time, but some of the things were really nice, because I really like rally with cars and stuff like this. So it was fun anyway. There is people who are working very hard, and they didn't even like their job, but they still have to do it. And we are really, we are riding around on a motorcycle, and traveling the world. So we are really already in. We are privileged, I would say. So.
But you had time to get married as well. How's the wife?
Yes. It's was also a really big thing, and we are really, it feels the same. After so long that we are together, it was very nice, but for me it's special, but not really much difference on normal life.
Oh, well, congratulations. More from Tony in a minute, but let's see how you can make the most from your MXGP TV package. Okay, as it's a new season, it's the perfect time to sign up and purchase our MXGP TV season package. This includes live and on-demand races of every round of the 2018 season, plus all qualifying races and the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Extreme racing action anytime, anywhere. And if you are an MXGP superfan, then why not check out our archive package, where you'll have access to every race from 2010 to 2017 for a price of just €4.99. All this could be yours. So what are you waiting for? Go to mxgptv.com for all the details. So Tony, going back to what we were talking about earlier, your winter, do you feel ready? Did you have a good winter training? You 100%?
Yes, for sure. The winter training was good. Also, the pre-season race went Very well. We had a very good Italian championship with a lot of protagonists, from the World Championship already. So really happy about this, and we're ready to start.
Yeah.
And obviously these were taken earlier on this year. David DiCarli just alongside you there, but how's your new teammate settling in? Because obviously Jorge Prado has come over from what is usually the MX2 side. He's come as your teammate as an MX2 rider, but Glenn Koldenoff has gone over the other side with Jeffrey and Paul's. How's Jorge settling in? How much riding have you done together during the winter? And what do you think of his chances in 2018?
Oh, Jorge is one of the most talented riders I ever seen. I think its winter time was very good until he had a little stop with a little injury, so it stops a little bit the preparation. But I think he will grow quickly again. Maybe not already on the first round, because he didn't have any races. But for sure he will be one contender for the title.
Okay.
Okay, well, Tony, we have a question on social media for you. This one's from Marco Drink, and he says, what have you done differently to prepare for this year, and which race do you prefer in this long season?
Well, actually, I didn't really do much difference on the preparation as I do already for so many years. So the preparation was mainly the same. For sure, was more focused on develop the bike, and make it as better as possible for my riding style. And the circuit, there are many that are very nice. I like like soft surfaces always, and so most of them are nice. Some of them are a little bit old style, very hard pack, but we had a good result last year also there, so we are looking forward for the championship.
All right, final question from me. Riding a new bike this year, new factory bike, it's still in its early development stage. How is it so far? Has it been a good winter? Because I saw, did you post January 19th first test on the bike, which for me seems late, but you would have done a lot during the, before you had all your time off, I guess.
Yeah. We did some testing in 2017 already, at the end of the season, before I stopped stop riding, for more than a month. But in January we'll start again in Sardinia, before the first Italian Championship round. So there we start testing again a little bit, and I know the season is very long, so we are really looking for consistency, again this year, and try to stay always on the podium. This is the goal, because it's very long, and it's many fast riders.
All right, Tony, thanks for joining us here today. Enjoy this weekend and the rest of the season as well, and hopefully it'll be title number 10 for you. Tony Cairoli, Red Bull K10 Factory Racing. Right, Adam Wheeler's waiting to come and join us from ontrackoffroad.com. But before we meet him, let's look at highlights from MXGP Race 2 from this race 12 months ago. His win in race 1, Geiser was in no mood for messing around. Another great start by the HRC rider, but once again it was Glenn Koldenoff on the Red Bull KTM that took the foxhole shot. Just behind him was Clément Dessau, but Dessau marched quickly into the lead. He was pursued by the two HRC boys once again, Geiser and Bobryshev, as they all passed the 259 of Glenn Koldenoff. Jeremy Van Horbik also found his way through. So too did Sean Simpson. Simpson gave chase to Romain Febvre as Dessau tried to pull clear. Van Horbik tried to make his way around the outside of Bobryshev. He succeeded at the end of the straight to get himself into third place. As Herlings had a much better start this time. He was running inside the top 6, but would eventually fade back to 7th. But not before he put in some pretty impressive moves though. The three Yamahas of Febvre, Simpson and Tonus all got connected together. Febvre on the right stayed up, but the two Wilvos of Tonus and Simpson fell to the ground, just like Tony Cairoli. Cairoli fell from 11th down to 15th. He would have another race on his hands to get himself inside the top 5 before the checkered flag fell. A few mistakes started creeping into Dessau's game, and eventually he had to yield to the hard-charging Tim Geiser, who hit the afterburners and charged into the lead. Dessau then started to fade. One or two scary moments allowed Van Horbik to catch and then pass his fellow Belgian as he charged into 2nd just before the halfway mark. Then Dessau came under intense attack eventually fading down to 10th as Paul Ann, Bobryshev and the rest started to home in on him. Paul Ann made that move on to Sal. And that was going to be good enough to get himself up into 4th. And in the closing stages of the race, Bobryshev charged past Van Horbig to get himself into 2nd for what turned out to be a Honda HRC 1-2 with Geiser bringing home his teammate in 2nd. Van Horbig was 3rd, Paul Ann 4th, Cairoli made it back to 5th in the end. And the overall Grand Prix belonged to Tim Geiser, with Van Horbig on the podium for the first time this year. So too, Evgeny Bobryshev. And it's Geiser who now holds the red plate as we head to round 4 in Leon, in Mexico. What a great day we had here in Patagonia. Well, that was 12 months ago, and again, looking forward to all the action coming up this weekend here at Patagonia Racetrack. Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com joins us now.
Hi, Lisa.
After a year's hiatus with other things. But Adam, we're back in MXGP, back here in Argentina. What are you looking forward to the most?
Well, first of all, I think a lot of the riders have commented as well in the paddock, Paul, that it's a fantastic facility to begin the championship with. I mean, 4th year in a row, but this is the first time we've come to Argentina to open the series, and I think it's just the surroundings, particularly with Storm Emma back in Europe, you know, washing everything out and making everything white. Then it's to come here to Argentina is, you know, just the best kind of present we can have really to start the championship.
We just saw in the clip there Honda finishing 1st and 2nd, but no HRC this year. This weekend, you know, no Tim, no Bogas. It's difficult to comprehend that, isn't it? You know, with those guys being injured.
I think the most important thing from that is that Tim Geiger is actually the most successful rider here.
Yeah,
from the 6 motos we've run, I think he's won 3 of them, so that's half. Yeah. Max Anstey had the other 2, and I think Clement de Sal was the only other winner.
But he's the only 2-time overall winner as well.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, you've got a rider who very quickly found his rhythm and his speed at this venue, so it's kind of open play a little bit. I mean, Tony Cairoli was on the show a little bit earlier, and you know, he's only taken 1 podium finish here in 3 Grand Prix, so you know, if he wins this weekend, then that could be quite a big statement for the rest of the season. All
right, well, look, let's crack on, because obviously looking here, going to be 1 or 2 little interesting stories, plot lines along the way. What do you think of the Herlings-Cairoli dynamic? How do you think that's going to play out through 2018?
I think it's something that's impossible to predict, but the fascinating thing is that we do have we have a team with 2 A-list championship riders. Yeah. And you and I were talking about this the other day, and I don't think in the Premier class we've seen 2, you know, former multi-world champions really on a level pegging going for a title. So that's, you know, like I say, this is one of the dices they had last year in Lommel, Belgian Grand Prix. We also had Otto Biano, which was pretty close. That was a little preview, but then we had 2 riders that were on separate trajectories. Jeffrey was coming up in his debut season, and Tony was pretty much in championship mode, trying to look for points every week. So anything can happen, but it's great that there's you know, and KTM obviously have an interesting situation trying to balance 2, you know, kind of points and win and podium happy riders. It's going to be interesting to see throughout the 6 months.
It is, but of course it's not just about Tony and Jeff, is it? I mean, how do you think Romain Febvre, Gauthier Paulin and Max Anstey, how do you think they'll fare up this year?
Romain Febvre's, I think it's a big year for him. He made a big mistake last year with race setup, trying to get the Yamaha into a position where, you know, not only could he get out of the gate and match the KTMs and the Husqvarnas, but also, you know, push continually for a 35-minute race distance. That was his biggest issue. It was only until round 9 or 10 when he actually started to click in and look like the rider we saw in 2015 and 16. So Romain, in these first races, you know, we've got a very unique kind of terrain here in Argentina, but then we go into the sand and then the hard pack of red sands, which again is a little bit soft. You know, will he be able to reach those glories of early 2016 and 15? That's a big question. Gauthier Paulin said in the press conference yesterday, it's his 2nd year of Husqvarna. He's feeling much more comfortable and at home with the team. Antti Perone and the team manager's got a very kind of regimented way to work and to train and to prepare everything. So, again, it's a big year for him.
Okay, and what about Van Horbig?
Oh, what about Max Anstey, first of all? Another rider that was that we just mentioned in that, and I think we have a clip of him. Because I guess from his point of view, Motocross of Nations, that's where it all kicked in for him.
You're a racer, Paul. You know, they'll cliche you're as good as your last race, and Max Anstey's last race at the Nations was sensational. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better. I mean, that could be a career highlight for all we know. Sure. It's you know, he obviously had the handling of that 450, you know, FC450 Husqvarna by that point. So I think Max is going to have to deal with the pressure more this year. He came in very much as a learner, as a rookie in 2017. So 18, I think not only the brand but also the team and the fans will be asking questions of him.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Jeremy Van Horbik. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Van Horbik, Simpson, Searle, DeSalle. Are they potential title contenders or podium contenders at least?
Podium contenders for sure. At this early stage, you don't really know who's going to grab a rhythm and start building up points. It seems to be a trend from the last few World Championships. We had 2 rookie winners in 2015 and 2016, and Jeffrey Hurlings as the winner last year came so close.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a trend where those guys build up points in the first part of the season. Once Roman Febvre hit his stride in 2015, then he really established that point lead. So I think any one of those guys could really pick things up.
And obviously in MX2, we just saw Paul Jonas there. He's a defending champion. Who do you think is going to give him the most trouble this year? One possible candidate here, and again, great way for him to bow out last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Max Anstey was, Hunter Lawrence, an 18-year-old on the Suzuki pool, which unfortunately it's a shame not to see any yellow bikes here.
Sure.
There's one factory we're missing here in MXGP, but Hunter Lawrence I think is one of the exciting names we're looking at in MX2 this year. And we mentioned those guys earlier in MXGP. We're talking about guys reaching their late 20s, a lot of experience. Can they still really push to the limits in MXGP? And in MX2 we've got the complete opposite situation where you've got a lot of young kids. Thomas Kjær-Olsen, in his second season. Jorge Prado as well, same situation.
Yeah, this was a great day for him, but actually it's almost like he peaked too early, wasn't it, Kjær-Olsen last year? He was 3rd after the first round or 4th after the first round, and then he kept it off with a win here in Latvia. But after that there was a little bit of inconsistency, and then he was almost trying to ride it out to get that 3rd place, and maybe he was helped a little bit by the fact that Patrarel got injured towards the end of the year, because that would have been an interesting tussle. But as we saw as well, or we're about to see now, Jorge Prado, a bright talent. This was his first of 3 Grand Prix wins at Trentino last year. What should we expect from him, and how's that dynamic going to play out in terms of the Red Bull KTM warning? Well,
he's fighting that right elbow injury from December, so he had an operation. He hasn't ridden that much in pre-season, but like Olsen, Prado, I think last year that was the longest racing season they'd ever had. It was 19 Grand Prix as well as pre-season events, so I think it was reasonable to expect dips, sort of like the troughs and some high results from these guys. But they're kind of like the flagship, race winners, you would say, contenders for this year. And it's along with people like Hunter Lawrence and some other names, I think there's only 4 Grand Prix winners in the MX2 class. So you've got a whole field there going to be hungry for like milestone achievements. Yeah. So that's kind of an exciting recipe.
Well, we've got excitement all the way through, haven't we? Because MXGP we've got multi-champions, multi-Grand Prix winners, and then MX2 we've got, like you say, just a handful of guys that have won, and there could be more adding to that list, and it could be very open, as we saw the beginning of last year, where we had 5 different winners in the first 6 rounds in terms of races and things like that. So obviously a lot to look forward to, but we've still got about a minute and a half to go here. How do you think this one's going to play out in terms of this opening round?
Predictions?
Yeah. Oh. No, not predictions, but I think in terms of the racing and the way, because it's obviously a lot warmer now than we've had previously. We're about a month earlier. We're towards the end of summer, because normally we're in autumn.
Into autumn, and it
might change the way the track rides, perhaps. Yeah. And it's warmer in terms of physically for the riders.
Yeah, we just had the first free practice session, and it's kind of like a play ride for everybody, really. And the track's still so fast, hasn't quite roughed up. It's if it keeps that same sort of speed, it's going to be really down to starts. But if it gets a little bit rougher, maybe some rain could possibly help, then it'll, more technical level will obviously bring out a different kind of form of rider. We saw Sean Simpson win round 2 last year in Indonesia when it was a bog, effectively. So, it depends on the conditions and how they change tomorrow. But looking outside of the factory, KTM's in the Premier class is going to be tight. Tony Cairoli, fantastic pre-season, Italian champion for the 10th time, and Jeffrey Hurlings as well. With the momentum he had at the end of last year.
And we've not seen them head-to-head yet this year either, because obviously what happened in the first Italian Championship when you couldn't ride and whatever else. But look, Adam, on trackoffroad.com, we are out of time here. Enjoy this race here. I know you're going to, you're being a dozen or so, 10 races this year.
Yeah, I'll be popping up.
And and Adam will be joining me actually in the second MX2 and MXGP races live on MXGPTV.com tomorrow as well. But look, just to fill you in, we're about 3 hours behind English time, 4 hours behind European time. So the first great drop for this weekend is going to be this afternoon, 3:25 here local time. 7:25 in the evening where you are if you're in Central Europe, and that's the MX2 qualifying race. We're on air Sunday at 12 o'clock local time, 4 o'clock if you are Central European. Well, the track is in prime condition. The stage is set, and as we've seen in the past, we've had some great action here out on track, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of argy-bargy this weekend as well. Hope you enjoy it. See you next time.